Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the quarantine sessions. Today, we're going to be talking with Dina El Mofty, the founder of Injaz Egypt. Dina has just joined, so I'm super excited. She's going to be talking about the 10 steps you need to take to start your business today, even amidst all this confusion that's happening with coronavirus. Let's with Dina in just 1 minute. It's super promising. It's the second week we're doing the quarantine sessions. Hi, Dina.
Hi, Valentina. I miss you. How are you?
Me too. How are you?
Good.
Hope
you're doing well.
Yes, everything is well. We are working from home. It's like the 13th day in quarantine. I'm really curious to know how things are going in Egypt. I'm following the everything that's happening with also quarantining and isolation, and I'd love to know what, how's Injaz, how's the team working? How have you been working? What's happening there?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're all loving the spirit of the Italians and how the Italians are adapting to this situation. So still full of life and the love for life and an amazing spirit and everything. We're seeing the singing from the balconies and all that. It's so beautiful. Obviously, you've heard the world is on lockdown, and here in Egypt as well. In Jazz, we have closed our office. A lot of businesses have shut down and everybody's quarantining at home. And so we always have to remind ourselves that even in times of uncertainty and times of crisis, there is still opportunity, and we have to remain hopeful and we have to remain optimistic, and we have to use this time to try to be productive, to learn, and just remain hopeful as best as possible.
Yeah, exactly. There's always, right? I think as entrepreneurs, this is exactly testing our capacity to become innovative, to turn a challenge into an opportunity, to really find the way. That's our job, basically. Innovate to find the way, right?
So exactly. And as entrepreneurs, we're always faced with challenges. So you have to understand it's the mindset. Your mindset. Are you going to give in to being a pessimist and the negative thinking process, or are you going to be more to remain optimistic and positive and try to find a solution to the situation that you're in? So it's really about our mindsets at this time. And I know it's very difficult to do, but it's so important, to keep that perseverance of keeping our positive spirits up and to think in a positive way as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a mind game, as we said so many times, right? There's so much of managing uncertainty, managing, those challenges and those barriers. Now, a lot of things are shutting down. So the topic we wanted to discuss today, a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of youngsters from the Middle East and from Europe are asking, is this a good time to start a business? So I think we can start, the conversation today with this kind of overall question in this context of huge uncertainty. There's an economic crisis coming for sure. So is it a good time? Should we take steps to start a business?
Yeah, so in these uncertain times, the answer to a question like that would be from a lot of people, are you crazy? I'm not going to start anything at this point. I'm just going to wait and see what happens and what unfolds. Oh my God, I'm so anxious. I'm so stressed out. There's no way I'm going to think of starting something new. But again, with an entrepreneurial mindset, you need to think again, in times of crisis and uncertainty, these are the times for opportunity. And this, if you really think about it, is the best time for anyone who has had this big dream of, I would love to start my own business, or I would love to leave my corporate job and start something new. Anyone of you who's been thinking of starting something new in the past, in the past couple of years and has really wanted to do it but hasn't found the time, you know what? Now is the time. you're never going to have this much time on your hands.
Exactly.
Probably
Yeah,
many
yeah,
years to
yeah.
come, to be able to plan, to be able to think things through, to be able to research. Now is the time for all that. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of skeptics will say, now is not the time to start anything or whatever, but my opinion is this is probably the best time. You'll never have this much time again, that enough, this much free time to plan, to research, and to think things through in terms of starting your own business and, you know, doing that thing you've always dreamed of.
Right, right. And I think this is forcing a lot of us to really think digitally, right? To really think of taking things online, even for more traditional businesses, because now we are staying home, consumers are staying home. The only way, you know, sales can happen right now is online. The only way we can conduct a business, we can conduct a team meeting is online, and the tools are there. We have the tools. So do you think this is a good time to spark that kind of creativity of thinking digitally first?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we all think about it, the past couple of years has all been building towards taking us all online as a
Yeah,
community and as a you know, everything has been going online, preparing us for a situation like this. Imagine.
yeah,
and
yeah,
and now it's almost like we're forced to do everything
yeah,
online right now,
yeah,
and thank
yeah,
God that so many tools are already available. and
yeah.
um, and so going forward and thinking, okay, I want to start my dream business, I want to start this thing I've always dreamed about doing, and now we're saying now is the time. And you can especially think about how to start your own online business even. So now is also, you know, a good time to think of that. And when we think of starting our own business, there are different points that we need to process and go through in order to do that. Whether it's starting a business online or offline, there are certain points that we need to reflect on and think about before
Mm-hmm.
going full force.
Mm-hmm. Um, there's one question that's coming from the audience. Reem Sharif. Hi, Reem. So she's asking, do you think this is the right bootstrapping startups, depending on online users, to start a small push, even with MVPs? I think it's a complicated question. Do you think
No,
it's the
no, but
right?
starting small and bootstrapping is what
Yeah,
she's talking about. So
yeah, yeah,
absolutely. I mean, now is not the time to probably, you know, if you're going to start something, to look for big investors or whatever. Like, try to test it first. And I
yeah,
think we'll go through the different steps. We're going to talk about 10 steps
yeah,
to starting the right business today.
yeah.
And we'll go through them. And if you're very serious about that, grab a pen and paper and take some notes down.
Exactly.
Um, but to the person who asked that question, yes, I mean, this is a great time to test your MVP. This is a great time to test the concept that you want to get into.
Yeah, yeah. I want to get into those 10 steps that you mentioned before. We were talking offline earlier about,
Yeah.
you know, how to concretely give people actionable steps. A lot of people send us messages like, what it is, what should I do first, right? You're thinking, should I think of the brand? Should I think of sales? Should I think of a market research and market studies? So, can you walk us through those first steps? Like, you have an idea, for a business. What is the first thing you do?
Okay, so it's very important before taking any action, you need to reflect on these 10 points that I'm about to share with you, okay? And go as deep as possible in reflecting on those 10 points on your own time, and
Mm-hmm.
and writing everything down. All the details of your thought process is very, very important. So let's start with the very first step that you should take, or first point that you should reflect on. So number one is define your why. Why are you thinking of doing the business that you want to do? Why do you want to start your business? What personally motivates you to start? What's inspiring you? What's exciting you about it? And what is it that you believe in strongly and that you're taking a stand for? So these are things you really need to reflect on. So this purpose that, like, define your purpose, because the purpose will fuel your drive going forward. So you need to know your purpose. That's number one. Very, very important, and reflect on that. Like write things down. Why am I doing this? Why do I love this concept? What about it excites me? So that's the number one thing, is knowing your purpose behind your business.
Yeah.
The second thing you need to reflect on is what size a business do you want to lead? Is it, are you someone who's talented, who's like a freelancer? Is it going to be like one person kind of shop or service that you're thinking of offering? Or is it, do you have an idea of a product or service that you would like to offer to people? And so this would be more of a startup sized business. So number one, define your why, your purpose. Number two, what is the size of the business that you're looking to launch? Okay?
Yeah.
Once you have this down and you've reflected on that, and you've done a deep dive with yourself on this, the third thing you need to think about is identify who your ideal client is going to be.
Right.
And what does that mean? Exactly. So you want to ask yourself, who am I out there to serve? Who can benefit from this product or service that I'm offering?
Yeah.
And what kind of problems is this client looking to solve? And how can I add tremendous value to them? Always think, if you're starting a business, always think of how much value can I add to the customers or to the clients that I'm trying to serve. It's all about adding value.
Right. And defining the problem, right? Sorry to interrupt. So I think defining the problem that you're solving helps find that value that needs to be added, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you were going to address this perhaps now. How do you talk to customers in an early stage to understand really what it is that their problem is?
Yeah, I'm going to come to that in that point, but I'll just cover it just briefly now, that basically you need to do research. You need to talk to your prospective client or your future, your ideal client. Think about, how old are they? Like, what economic background are they from? What income group are they from? Are they male? Are they female? Are they both? Are they mothers? Are they, try to narrow it down as much as possible, like your ideal client. And think of people that who could be like your ideal client, and talk to them. Obviously now, give them a call, chat with them online, but there's so much information that you can gain from talking to people who are in your ideal client kind of group.
Yeah.
So those were the 3 points. If I can, I'll continue on to the fourth.
Yeah.
The fourth point would be reflecting on what's your business model. Okay. So what does that mean? How do you think you're going to be able to make money, right?
Yeah.
So get clear on how your business is going to make money. What exactly are people going to pay you for? And why wouldn't they go to anyone else? Why would they go to you? How are you adding value? So you want to think about, okay, people in your industry or in the line of work that you want to get into, and benchmark yourself to them. Who are the best in the industry that you want to get into? Benchmark yourself to them in terms of how are they doing it so successfully? How are they crushing this business model, and how are they running their business and making money in this industry? Another thing you need to reflect on, obviously, is what kind of capital do you need to start? So can you start small and bootstrap, like the question that we got a while ago? Can you start it small just to test it out? You don't need a big investor in the beginning. How can you test out that your business idea is viable and has traction meaning has people interested, to use it, to buy it, and so on. So think of how you could also start small, bootstrapping and take it from there.
Yeah. Let's define bootstrapping for aspiring entrepreneurs that perhaps, hear this term, but it's not very clear. So what is bootstrapping?
So bootstrapping is, well, it's taking the term of, like strapping your boots, tying your belt on really tight. It's all expressions that mean that you're tightening self up, you're tightening, like you're making do with what you have, basically.
Yeah.
So bootstrapping is when you make do with what you have. You're starting small, you're testing things out, and you're not, you're not just going from zero to really big overnight. You're taking it a step at a time, like tightening your belt and just doing whatever you can to get it running. So that's in a nutshell.
Right. Behzad was sending us a comment earlier. He was asking for an example. When you were talking about the third step and finding that value, that customers, adding that value to customers, can you give us an example of a startup that is adding value in with their specific product or service?
Okay. One that I just now off the top of my head, how a certain startup, let me take one of our startups as an example, who had launched a few years back from our accelerator, GoodSmart, for example. Okay, they realized that not everybody has time to, a lot of, especially working mothers, don't have time to continuously shop day in and day out for the groceries for their home. So how did they add value? For example, GoodSmart added value by coming up with a concept of that they'll put a box in front of your door.
Yeah.
They have the key and you have the key, and you don't have to be home to receive your groceries. How did they add value? They saw that there was a need. So they saw their clients had a need, that they don't have time to be doing grocery shopping day in and day out. And so they added value to their clients by making life easier and getting this kind of a box and having it in front of their home where they could receive their groceries every day or every week, whether they are home or not. So see, this is how you're adding value. See what's missing with your client, what problem does your client have, and you try to solve it for them. And this, what's very helpful is when you ask a lot of questions of your ideal clients, and you get to know, how you can solve their problems.
Right. He's asking again, I think what you just said answers that question, right? What's the value? Is it a previous problem or tackling problems? So basically it's right. It's answering the problems as you talk to people, right? As you talk to your potential customers.
Exactly. And that's where the research is when you talk to people, when you ask them questions, you find out what their problems are, what their challenges are, and your business can go in and address these problems and address these challenges.
Yeah, great. Good example, he's saying. Awesome. Great. So we were going through step number 4, right?
Yes. So step number 4 was what's your business model? So we covered that. Now we're going to go into step number 5.
Yeah.
So step number 5 is very internal to the entrepreneur himself or herself. It's knowing what your unique strengths are. So how can you use your unique skills, your unique strengths to solve problems for others and add value? So let's say I'm an entrepreneur and I'm really good at like marketing and sales. That's my strength. So focusing on that, but then maybe when I'm adding members to my team, or if I'm looking for a partner, I get someone who will complement that strength. So this is my strength. What's my weakness? I'll get a partner or a team member who complements, who can fill in that weakness that I have, so that you balance, and with that you become more, empowered in running your business.
Right.
So what are your unique strengths is number 5 that you need to reflect on. Moving forward, point number 6 would be, are you willing to do whatever it takes to make this happen, to launch your business? Are you willing to make the commitment? And are you willing to be the best or one of the best or the best in this industry that you're going into? And are you willing to follow through with it and be relentless and have that drive and commitment? So
Right.
number 6 is your commitment. This is as
Right.
committed as you'll ever be. It's like committing to having a baby, committing
Yeah.
to getting married. It's
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
not
need
a
to be
9 to 5
really,
job.
yeah, exactly. You need to be dedicated, and you need to know, like, is this something I can commit to? Because this will be like your new baby. You're gonna, take care of it, grow it till it grows, basically.
Yeah.
So that was number 6.
Yeah.
How committed will you be? Number
Yeah.
7 is all about evaluating your idea. So each of these points that I'm talking about, it's great for you to sit down with a pen and paper, reflect on it, just like spill your guts out when you're writing this, about your thought process, about what you would ideally love to see this happening. It's a lot of personal reflection, these exercises and these steps. And in point number 7, you're really doing a deep dive and evaluating your idea. So you have to think about, do you really have the real world experience and skills and ability to deliver on this business? Are you willing to focus your free time on making this happen? Is there a clearly defined market of people who are spending money on this kind of product or service that you want to bring out to the world? So these are personal reflection ideas that you need to reflect on and evaluate in going forward with your product or service.
And this relates a little bit. We had a session yesterday which was about leadership, right? And this relates a little bit because it's like you're forced somehow when you start a business, you may not know it, but you need to step up and become a leader, right? And this involves a lot of commitment, as you were saying, a lot of giving up your free time, a lot. It involves changing who you are and becoming a leader, becoming a role model for others.
Yes. Well, this is a great point, and it's coming at the right time. I see someone is writing down a question that it's a very desperate time for startups, and he's, feeling that, a lot of despair in this area. And you speak of leadership, and I want to address this question that it's about leadership at this time, at this very difficult time when people are freaking out, getting so anxious and stressed out and very fearful. Fear is all around us, and us as leaders, we need to address this fear with our teams and with and in the community where we work. And as a leader, you need to address these fears and these anxieties and take a stand. That as a leader, you need to be hopeful. As a leader, people are looking to you for aspiration and for inspiration and for motivation and for drive. So if you are leading a startup at this time, there is no more important time for you to step up as a leader as it is today. You need to console your team. You need to give them hope. You need to give them direction. Although we don't see any direction at the moment, there's no light at the end of the tunnel that we're seeing, but still it's all about keeping up hope, having this positive outlook, and giving your team hope and positivity. This is what leadership is all about. Because if they see you fearful, if they see you stressing out, this is just going to channel through into everybody that works with you, and yes, it will be a hopeless situation. So if you need to keep going in a leadership role and be hopeful and give as much positive vibes to everyone around you as possible.
And I think it's important to stay focused, right? To stay focused. We were talking about earlier, the news are very they cause you anxiety, the news of what's happening. There is going to be effectively an economic crisis. However, for the online business, edtech sector, we were saying in another session, the edtech sector is going to flourish, right? So there's a lot of opportunity that we should tap into. Let's not forget, a lot of the most successful startups were born in the years of the economic crisis, 2008, 2009, right?
Exactly, exactly. In times of crisis, there's opportunity. Make that your slogan going forward. Switch off the news, you know, get focused on something, get focused and productive on something that you want to do, whether it's this new idea that you want to launch as a new business and looking whether you can do it online. But I think it's important to, you know, not tap into the fear, although it's very easily can consume us, but to remain with a positive outlook. And when we are productive and focused on something, it kind of shuts out any fear and any anxiety, because we are channeling all our energy and focusing it into this idea that we have, or into that business that we want to grow.
Right, right. So Reem is saying, way to go. That's a great talk. Amazing. Behzad had another question. He was asking, how much is an idea important? I think also it means how much is it worth it, right? What's the value of an idea? How important is the idea in the business?
Okay, so that's a great question, which taps into my point number 8 on how to evaluate whether your idea, you know, is worth exploring and taking the step to. So point number 8 tackles this.
There's a little bit of interference, I think, with the line. Just 1 second. I think everyone is online these days. Everyone is connected. So we're facing these issues very often. Let's see how we can. Guys, can you hear Dina? I think it's not. Maybe we can try rejoining the call. I don't know if she can hear me. Okay. No worries. Sorry for a lot of questions. Not at all. We're here to answer your questions, Behzad. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for joining. Apologies for the interference. Yes, there she is. She's joining again right now. There's a lot of internet usage these days. Everyone is at home. Everyone is on the internet. So yeah, there we are. So sorry, this keeps happening. I think everyone,
of course.
You know,
the world is, the whole country is online now, so there'll be drops.
So there we are. Yes.
Answering the person who asked about the idea, and the way you find out if your idea is worthwhile pursuing is to do research with your customers, with your potential customers. Connect and interview at least 5 people who are successfully working in a similar industry to you. So ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. That's how you'll know whether your idea is worth pursuing or not.
Great, great. And there was one more question from Rim Sharif. Last question. She says, do you believe that most startups should start considering creating pivots or following through with plans to adapt to the market changes? So should they pivot or continue with the plans that they had already set?
Well, to answer this question, they would be the best in answering this question, because you would know the nature of your business, and you would know if now is the right time to change something that you're doing, adapt it. Again, do some research on your idea, on the clients who you are serving. And I would ask them questions, and I would ask them if your concerns, like of your idea to do this or do that, I would ask your perfect client that question. Right.
Great. So we were saying, we were on step 8 about regarding
doing your research.
Sorry? Doing your research.
Yeah, step number 8 was all about doing your research.
Yeah, right.
So two more steps to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 9, for point number 9, it's set your business vision. So get very clear about what your compelling vision is, and what you're passionate about for your vision, and what excites you, and stay focused on your goal, and honor your values, and stay completely adaptable and flexible. So you have a greater vision, but once you launch it, like the question we just got asked about pivoting and being flexible, when you're running your own business, absolutely have to be flexible to maneuver with the change in the times. Things will change. Things will shift out of the blue. And as an entrepreneur, and as someone running your own business, you have to learn how to pivot, how to be flexible. That's really important. Have a greater vision, but also know how to adapt and how to be flexible. So that's point number 9.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last
final point number 10, is a hunger for learning. You have to make it like your second nature, to make learning an ongoing habit of yours, and just part of your life, to continually want to better from yourself and from your future business. You have so many online resources now to help you. Like, for example, our accelerator now, startup, has gone online with the mentoring, and so many things now are going online. So like, the message for you in point number 10, with your hunger for learning, at the end of the day, we're all in a lockdown, we're all in this together, and there has never been a better time in your life to actually start to plan, to learn, and to research. And ultimately, if you've wanted to do something new, this is the time to get out of your comfort zone and explore that new thing or that big dream that you've been, thinking about for so long. So there you have it, the 10 steps to starting your business.
I love it. I love it. And I love the last one. Adel is saying it's great to hear that. Sarah is saying good point. I love to hear that, because I actually wanted to ask you, right? I mean, throughout this whole process, there's so much of learning involved, because you're an entrepreneur, you're sort of a jack of all trades. You have to teach yourself to do everything from operations, marketing, team building, building a team culture, a company culture, right? There's so much you can always learn. Do you have specific like online resources, online or sources where people can get, training or inspiration, or people that we can follow? I personally follow, I have mentors, and I also follow online mentors that don't know me, but I learn a lot on leadership and how to kind of build that entrepreneur that we want to become.
Yes.
Right.
So you said a very important point now about getting a mentor. You have to get a mentor. Find someone who you respect very much and admire and look up to, and ask them. Everybody now is open to helping, and helping to motivate, wanting to motivate. And so find yourself a mentor. I'm sure if you ask someone that you admire and respect, they'll be more than happy to help you and take your questions and answer your challenges and give you some guidance and help and support. So definitely a mentor. In terms of online resources, there are so many, and definitely I'd follow people who are entrepreneurs, and also follow resources that are out there. For example, I mean, like something like Masterclass, for example, is something I go to. Masterclass had like Sarah Blakely, who was the first self-made female billionaire, and how she started her business, and how she felt she was clueless in the beginning, and the steps she took. Like listening to someone like her, and how she first started, and the steps she took, and she didn't always know about everything, and so how she got through it really inspired me and motivated me to learn from women who have made it in their professions and in their various industries. So follow people you admire, learn from them, and yes, there's so many resources online now, and also a lot of accelerators that you can go to for help and support as well.
Definitely. So Sarah Mofty was asking which online mentors. You just mentioned some of them. I actually also got to know Marie Forleo, thanks to you, actually.
Yes.
I follow a lot of the work that she does. There's a lot of training in terms of marketing. So I listen to podcasts. For example, Jenna Kutcher, she has the Goal Digger, goal as in
Yes.
goals, Goal Digger podcast. I follow Rachel Hollis. Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V, is great for everything related to marketing and social media and online sales. There's Brendan Burchard, he's great for
Brendan
habits.
Burchard, exactly, amazing.
Great for habits, building the habits that will keep you, will build that energy and that strength.
Yes, and the Gina DeVee for women entrepreneurs who want to start their own business, like follow her as well. Like there's so many resources out there right now.
Yeah. There was another question. So there are a lot of questions regarding your experience of or final products. How much is importance, or what's the importance of an experience in final product? Behzad, I'm not sure I understand your question regarding our experience with final products. If you can rephrase or explain it, that would be amazing. We had another question. Issam was saying, for my point, he does recommend Strategizer platform. Great recommendation. I haven't checked it out, but I should. It's great to have these online, especially today. There's a lot of things that are being made available for free for the quarantine period. So it's great to check them out. I also follow StoryBrand for branding and for building storytelling for your brand. They have a podcast, they have a website, they have exercises, so it's a great tool as well.
Yeah, now is the time to tap into all these resources. Or take an online program, or and this is the time to learn more about the areas that you're unfamiliar about.
Exactly. So Kafafi is saying, first of all, thanks for this podcast. I went to ask a question. I have too many thoughts of business, but I don't know which one to start with. What guidance can we give Kafafi?
Yeah, okay. When you have a lot of ideas, I mean, it's amazing. You're channeling a lot of like creativity there. It's important to evaluate each one. So sit with a notebook and a pen and evaluate each of your ideas, their pros and cons, how you feel you can add value to each one of them, and see which one of these ideas you feel that you can deliver on better or highlights your strengths better. So it's very important. Put them all down on paper and just do this exercise for yourself. Put it down, evaluate each and every one, and also take others' opinions. Take friends' opinions, take a mentor's opinion, and so on. Definitely evaluate your ideas to settle on the best one.
Right. He's adding a point. He's adding a comment now. Most of them, he says, also most of them needs big capital. What do you recommend for those ideas? Hello, I think we've got frozen screen again. I think we're getting cut off again. Can you guys hear Dina? We're getting cut off a little bit. I think the signal is having some difficulties. Yes, she's gone. But I think you're coming back now. Can you try speaking again, Dina? Okay. Okay, we're gonna do something because they can't hear you. They can't hear you. We're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna, let's see if we can make it. Apologies. These are the quarantine. These are the problems of living in quarantine and everyone plugged into the same connections. Probably the companies are gonna step up. I believe. I hope so. There we are. She's joining in 1 minute. Again. There's so many questions right now. Okay, we hope we can answer them all. So experience in the market is important for final products. Okay. There we are. You're back. Hello. Hello, Dina. We can see you, but we can't hear you. Yes, we're back. Can you hear as well? I see the frozen screen again. Yes, okay, now I see you moving. Can you try speaking? Let's see if we can hear. No, I can't hear anything. I'll try turning off other Wi-Fi's and see if okay. Oh no. Yes, okay. Now I can hear you. No video, no there's. Let's try this again. We need some patience. We need some patience, and I'm seeing lots of questions flowing in, which is great. Let's wait until she joins back. In the meantime, I'm going to be reading the questions, the remaining questions. Like an e-learning platform providing courses, and it's important for the customers, but the customer. Oh, so yeah, you're continuing. What should I have to do if the customer needs my service but doesn't want it? Like an e-learning platform providing courses, and it's important, but the customer doesn't want to pay for the courses. Okay, we're going to ask this question to Dina. I think from my point of view, what you need to do then is find out why they need it, but they do not want it. There must be something about the product that you're offering or the service that you're offering that is not exactly what they want. So you need to keep talking to them and keep reiterating the product or the service to figure out what it is that they really want. Waiting for Dina again. Okay.
Okay, let's hope this works.
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes, now I see you and I hear you, and I think.
Okay, let's pray we have a good connection.
Yeah.
Pray, everyone, for good connectivity.
Pray with us. So, yes, we were answering. There were still a few questions. So Behzad was asking, how important is it to have experience in the market where the market you're trying to penetrate, or is the final product more important? And then we had another question by Isam saying, what should I do if the customer needs my service but doesn't want it? For example, an e-learning platform providing courses which are important for the customer, but the customer doesn't want to pay for the courses. What should he do? Should he continue? Should we go with it? Or
so he's saying the customer needs the courses but doesn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Maybe try testing it out for free first and put it out for free. That's important in the beginning, because when you're putting your e-courses out, you need to get the feedback of everybody who's using it, and you need to ask a lot of questions. How much would you be willing to pay for it? Would you be willing to pay? Or, so have a segment that's free, and also ask your customer, what would you be willing to pay for in terms of content? So that's right. That. In terms of the person who asked about the market or the product is more important, well, your knowledge of the product and the market are both important, but if you have one more than the other, I'd recommend learning more about the market that you're going into, and talk to people who are in this market or in this industry who can give you a lot of good insights.
Right. Adil is also asking, is it... he's saying, yes, you should get in touch with your customers directly to see what exactly they need and want.
Exactly. Right? That's great advice.
what are the best practices? Like, what are the ways people can get in touch with potential customers? What do you think works best?
Well, you have to know what your ideal customer is like we said, the age bracket, their background, their financial background, their educational background, all of that. And you have to like imagine who this ideal kind of client is, and think of people in your circles who kind of fit this ideal client. And you
Right.
can start with this, people in your circles, and ask them questions. And then you can maybe take your questions online, and also ask people in your bigger circles on Facebook or whatever. Put out the questions out there, and try to, the more you get people to answer this is all research for you. That's really, really critical and very important. Have a call with people who fit your ideal client profile, and go out, write down a list of different questions, and just to understand their mindset, what challenges they face, and how you can help to address that.
Right. Adel is adding, yes, segmentation and targeting, and knowing the persona of the customers.
Yes, the persona, exactly, very important.
Right. So Maurice has just joined. Hello from Egypt. I'd like to ask you about how to raise funds for my startup. That's a broad question.
Yeah. Well, in normal days, I would have advised you, join an accelerator. You can benefit a lot from learning through the accelerator, and at the end, you could receive a seed fund. So that is one thing that's normally done by a lot of startups. But if you don't have access to that, I would recommend starting small. Start by testing your product or service. And when you start small, I mean, maybe you can raise small funds from friends or family that can support you as your initial investors, as you test out if there is prospect and potential for this product or service that you're putting out there.
Right. There's the famous 3F, right? Can we explain that? It's a famous term in the startup world. It's friends, family, and fools, right?
Oh, yeah. Friends, family. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
So a lot of people, recommend that, looking at your circles, as you were saying.
Yes. So definitely test first and start small, just so that you might find out from your ideal clients that they prefer things a different way. So then you find yourself pivoting or doing something different. So it's very important to test in the beginning.
Right. Isam is saying, someone recommended before, if you want to build your startup, you have to work with a startup. How could I do that? How could I engage with the startups to let me work with them?
Yeah. Now turning to work for startups in different areas. I mean, you can just apply, and it should be pretty straightforward. Apply and see which area you can help support the startup in, and join them and take it from there.
Right. Okay, we're going to take one more question. So Mirna is saying, we'll definitely try that. Thank you. So Behsan is asking, to what extent innovation is important? In other words, do we need innovation in our idea?
Okay, so it depends if you have an innovative idea or not. Your idea doesn't have to be innovative, but if you're adding more value with your idea than someone else who has maybe something similar, but you're adding more value, and it's not a very innovative idea, but you're adding value and making it.
I think yes.
Your competitive edge and your advantage. Yes.
Right. Right. Yeah, the sound is getting cut off again. Okay.
You hear me like this?
Hello? I think we're getting cut off again. We're doing so good.
Yes, we were.
There
Hang
we are.
in there, connection.
We can hear you again. Okay, thank you so much. We don't want to, we don't want to make you waste any more time. It's been a long.
No. All we have is time now.
True. We've been given this gift. I keep calling it the gift of time because it's amazing to have all this time available now. We don't
thank
have
you,
to
Valentina,
leave, right?
and anybody who has any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to help you navigate this, especially to those who are, have an idea or have taken the steps to start and launch their business. Please feel free to reach out with any of your questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. These steps were golden steps, as Adel called them. So thank you so much again.
Thank you,
Valentina.
Valentina. Thank you, everyone, and good luck and stay safe.
Yes, stay home, everyone. Happy quarantine.
Happy quarantine, and keep learning.
Exactly. Let's keep learning. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye. Take care. Bye, Valentina. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.